Oh, yes, it's working. It's working. I'm already seeing it coming. We are live. Wow, there's a little bit of a delay, but let me see. Hello, everybody. Hello. Let me see. Can you all see me? Can you see me? Can you hear me? Let me see some comments here. Hello, beautiful YouTube people. Thank you for waiting. We should be live right now. Let me see what's going on here. Okay, let's see. Hello! Yes, we're live. Stefan, we've made it. We did it. We're actually live. Beautiful. Let me
Wonderful.
see. Yes, we are. It's working. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome today to a very special surprise that I have for you. Thank you, everyone, for showing up. So we're just going to wait before we dive right in a few minutes to give people a chance to join us. But we are live. We did it. Technology, technology. So for the first time ever, I don't know if you know this, Stefan, for the first time ever in the history of my YouTube channel, I have a guest. All right. I've never invited a guest before because
Okay, no, I didn't know.
I never felt that I found someone who really has something so valuable and like who's so aligned to my messages. So I'm very, very protective
Yeah.
of my YouTube channel and my content, and I would not invite anyone if it wasn't really the real deal, right? So you, my beautiful people, we got lots of people. We got 54 people in the house so far. Yes. So I think we have enough people so I can introduce my beautiful guest, and I'm so, so happy that you came here, and you can already kind of guess what's going on there. There's a fire in the background. Stephan Van Der Merwe, I hope I pronounced that right, straight from the plains of Africa. Stephan is a 5D animal communicator. Yes, a 5D animal communicator. There's a difference. You guys will understand what it is. And he channels the higher aspects of the wild animals. So it's very, very special. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy that you said yes to come on and to have a chat with me here because what we're going to talk about, we're going to introduce YouTube and everybody to something very, very important and something that has been overlooked in the spiritual community in our ascension process. And it is the missing factor. The missing factor to our ascension. It truly is. So you will find out all about this. I'm just going to say hello. Everyone is, you're not looking at YouTube, Stefan, are you? Can you see all these people saying hello, hello? You can't see what they're saying, right, Stefan? Can
Um,
you see what they're
no,
saying?
I can't.
Okay, because you're on the Zoom with me. So I hear them lines. Hello
Yes.
from Denmark. Stephanie's there. Yes, indeed. Oh, Noah's Ark. Everyone is excited. Oh, Sharon says, we love Stefan. So you're already getting some huge support there. Elephants all over the place. All right, so Stefan, why don't you kind of say a little bit who you are, what you do, and how you got to get that special connection?
Yeah, I live in Botswana at the moment, in northern Botswana, close to areas some might know, like the Okavango Delta, the Magadi salt pans, Mahun, which is the nearest village. At the moment, I'm about half an hour from the nearest village, so I'm out here on the farm.
Hmm.
And there's no power, so I had to make a fire to get some light. Okay, but anyway, I live in Botswana because me and my sister we own a safari company. We do very specialized fly-in safaris,
Hmm.
and that's where my connection is to nature. I guide our safaris, so we go out, we do wildlife safaris, but multi-country safaris, 2 to 3 weeks long, some of them,
Hmm.
combining all the safari destinations in countries like Botswana, Zambia, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda. So that's what I do, and I've started about 20 years ago in
Wow, I didn't
the
know that.
industry, first as a expedition.
Wow.
Yeah, about 20 years ago, yeah, I started as a expedition guide, and that's how I got into traveling around Africa and the wilderness areas, the wild places, by guiding long
Wow.
expeditions from Cape Town to Kenya, like
Mhm.
6 week long, for example, different ones.
Wow.
And for about 10 years did that and got to know Africa very well, spend a lot of time with in the national parks, with the animals, with my clients, and just felt the longer I was doing that, just really felt strong connection with the natural world in general, not just the
Mhm.
animals.
Mhm.
And yeah, so it helps to work in nature and in Africa. That really helped for the connection because especially elephants, I spend so much time with elephants on any safari because they, especially here in
Mhm.
Botswana, there's so
Yes.
many of them and we're so fortunate. So, it's quite easy. We're just driving through the village and you can come across a herd of 200 elephants. And it's quite
Wow.
fascinating to see how the people and the animals live in peace together here. But yeah, anyway, that's my background. I'm guiding safaris, expeditions in Africa. And when I would say about 2 years ago or so, I had or just, yeah, when the COVID started type of thing. And we were busy with quite a lot of safaris and we had to cancel or stop everything.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's been going on for a while. So in that time, when it got really quiet in the tourism industry, I just took some time just to reflect on things, on life and the animals, because I started getting all these messages and synchronicities
Mhm. Mhm.
from my mother who's passed away when I was a little boy, and just things like that I picked up through music, through banners on the bus, and I was like, okay, I feel that she's trying to make a connection, and
Mhm.
um, I started just with meditations to try and get a connection, clear my head, and start connecting like that. And it actually, the whole thing started with the animals, with my lion guide that I met about 7 years ago, and the photo of him. I met him in Botswana. Has always been with me, and I was always like, there's some
Mhm.
connection on this with this lion on this photo, and I never
Mhm.
joined the dots until I started really going into meditations, and he came through in the Lionsgate month, the Lionsgate portal month, doing actually one of your meditations. You have that Lionsgate portal meditation
Yes.
that I did.
And I think that's how we started to connect. You saw my Lionsgate portal meditation. And sorry,
Yeah.
I'm lagging. I'm looking at a different like screen, so I'm lagging. I think it's so interesting that how we connected, you and me, was through the lions. And I think it was last year
Yeah.
or the year before. Was it last year, that meditation that I did? I think it was last year, right?
Well, no, I was in 2020,
2020.
August 2020. I did that one. The
Yes.
first time, yes. And I can't remember
Okay.
how I got onto your channel. I think my sister said, have a look at this channel or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I did that meditation, and I don't know, I just really went into quite a very deep meditative state. And I met this lion guide at the Lionsgate, and also my mother, who's my guardian angel, and she was there, and my ancestors were there. And
Wow.
when I came out of the meditation, I think I showed you, I had this red dot, bright red dot, just here on between my eyes almost, just above my eyes. When I looked in the mirror, I was like, where did that come from? And it just came, yeah, and I was there for about 3 or 4 days. It wouldn't go away.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went into a hypnosis session with a friend who's a healer, and
Mm-hmm.
to try and figure out some things and remove certain blocks and things. And then things kind of just escalated. I was on the farm with rescued animals. They were all there. So all the horses came um, into the session, or the consciousness. They came all, and they were all in the garden. And for a few hours, so we were busy, they all came and they helped me with a lot of healing, heart healing. And
Beautiful.
then suddenly I started connecting with the horses and a donkey, like on a very deep soul level, a cellular level. And so I would connect with them, and this horse Goldie, the first time I connected with him, he gave me so many things that I wrote down, about 7 or 8 pages full of stuff, like a story of the history of that land that we were on. And
Yes.
there's quite a history there. It's a heritage site in South Africa, this particular farm, where in the history of South Africa, there was, when the British colonized, there was a war going on from 1899 until 1902, called the Anglo-Boer War. And they signed the peace treaty on that land. But before that, since the 1600s, there was a lot of misery on that land when the Dutch arrived with the slaves. So especially kids out of wedlock, that the colonizers there, when they had kids with the slaves, the local Khoisan people and the Asian slaves that were imported, these kids, they would put them in this underground chamber. And so Goldie the horse showed me where this chamber is on the farm.
Did she
And we
physically
went on
show
this
you?
trap door. It was like, yeah.
Did she physically
She
take
showed
you there?
me in visions. Yeah, in visions she showed me, and it was behind the barn. So it came through some things in visions, some things I felt. So it's just using all the senses. It just came through to me. So I wrote everything down, and there was indeed a trapdoor behind the stables where they used to slaughter the little babies that was born out of wedlock. And he showed me like the big knives and the ropes they used to hang them. So these little babies, they were all traumatized, most of them. So their little souls were stuck there in this underground, below those trapdoors. And with my friend, who I was working with at the moment, she works there on the farm. She's a healer. She does her own thing. And she created like a portal where we could release all those trapped souls. So we started with that, with the guidance of Goldie the horse. And then, some weeks later.
Okay, well, one second. Let me stop you 1 second, because there's one thing which is important that I want you to explain. Some viewers may be thinking, okay, we connect to animals, but don't animals, like, how can animals know all these things? And I feel that there is like something that you said, like in your story, that's really important to bring out.
Sorry, Natasha, I just lost you there.
Oh,
you're
did you
cutting
lose?
out.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, you're back now.
I'm back. Okay, the connections may be a little bit off. That's okay. Okay, we're still on YouTube. We're still live. I can see us. So, okay. So, what I think is really important to explain to the viewers now. We think of animals as beings maybe with not such a high consciousness, or a consciousness where it's difficult for them to understand what we are all about. So when we talk about animal communication, often we think of, we're connecting to our cat, to our dog, or like seeing what they need. But what you're saying is that you're connecting with the animals on a level that they actually know the history. They know so much. They know high level information. And I think this is the key. This is something that is really, really important, to understand that the communication that you are doing with these animals is actually a very high level communication. So how you're connecting to the animals is not just the animal right there. I feel that it's perhaps the higher aspect of the animal. Can you explain that a little bit, that difference? I think that's really important.
Yeah, so when I first started connecting to them, for some reason it wasn't like, it didn't kind of hit me as, wow, what's just happening here. It felt 100% natural, and I just got into it instantly.
Yes.
And so when my friend, she did some animal communication in the past as well. She did like a workshop. So she created this little workshop for myself and some other friends, just in a day, and we just to see if we can connect. And it instantly happened. So
yes,
some of the questions that were in the workshop would be stuff like, what's your favorite food? Do you like the place where you sleep? I was like, I don't really have, because I've always seen the animals as something with a very high consciousness.
Yes.
So for me, it's like, I don't want to ask them that because I know what type of intelligence they really have.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And
Yes.
so I've noticed, if you ask a question that is something that the physical dog in its 3D form, they still have to survive on this earth in as a dog, but they have that higher aspect as well. So when you
Yes.
ask a simple question that's related to his physical conditions right now, like what food do you like, or do you like your sleeping arrangements,
Hmm.
they will answer you, or they will show you certain things. But then you ask something like, I often ask questions like, is there any assistance you need from me, or stuff like, what do you have any wisdom to share with me right now?
Yes.
Um, Something like that. And then they switch from that 3D animal, which
Yes.
sometimes just seems like a young teenage kid, really, when they talk to you, if it's a young dog.
Hmm.
But suddenly that higher aspect kicks in, and I don't see the dog in my mind's eye anymore. I see this massive inflated kind of energy, but the face of the
Yes.
animal, if it's a lion
Yes.
or an elephant, and it takes up my entire vision if my eyes are closed, and it just feels so immense. And then
Yes.
I know, okay, this is now the connecting to the higher aspect of that particular animal, or the
Mhm.
collective of the entire species. So it's like
Yes.
there are different ones, there are different consciousness that can kick in depending on the level of intelligence or what level of wisdom is required for them to answer that question. So it can be the
Yes.
3D form,
Mhm.
the consciousness that's right here, right now,
Mhm.
or then the higher self of that particular animal. If that can't, then there's a higher self that looks over a group of them that are perhaps together, which is their combined
The
consciousness.
collective, you mean, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
sorry,
Of a
you're going
specific
fast. One
herd, for
second. So,
example.
one sec, sorry.
Yeah,
So it's the 3D aspect that we see, like the dog right there, that usually we think, oh, it's our pet, how cute. So the
yeah,
teenager type aspect. But
yeah,
you're saying, and this is what people overlook, that there is a higher aspect, the higher self
yes,
of this animal, which is most likely a 5D, 60, 70 aspect,
yeah,
just like our own higher self. And then
yeah.
above that is the collective oversoul of that animal. So it's actually
Mm.
3 levels that we can talk to with the animals, right? That's what you're
Well,
kind of explaining.
yes, exactly. But
Hmm.
there can be more levels actually. So you can have the higher aspect of the individual animal. Then, say for example, it is a herd animal like a buffalo, for example. Say there's 500 buffalo in that herd. So when you're asking something related to that herd, for example, then a higher aspect, which is like an oversoul almost of the entire herd. So it's the collective consciousness of that particular
Ah,
herd
yes.
that looks over them and knows which is the wisest one among them that would know what's the better for the herd. But if
Mhm.
you're asking something related to um, then you can get for example, a consciousness which would be all the buffaloes in the entire Kenya, for example, which could also
Mhm.
have a collective consciousness, or the consciousness of the entire species as a whole, which would be then like their top one, which will include all of them. So you can have kind of like these subgroups that you can
Mhm.
connect to, which will
Wow.
be the wisest one in a particular group. Um, and yeah, it sometimes feel almost if it's a little bit easier to connect to that higher aspect, because
Mhm.
there are some challenges with the connecting with the animal in its 3D form. And that is just like when I'm talking to you now and you're busy gardening, and I come and I start a conversation, and you're busy, so you're listening with half a ear, and you know so you're busy, so they can be busy playing with the ball, playing with the cat,
Yes.
or eating, or they're at their most active of the day.
Mhm.
And when you try and connect them, they're simply not interested. So they're not going to connect. Or if you're trying to connect and you're sending scrambled messages, they also don't connect. So you have to have a clear mind. Or if instinct overrides whatever you're trying to do. So you're trying to ask them, listen, are you hungry? That's an example. And he's busy, the cat's busy clawing the tree to
Mhm.
sharpen the nails. So it's just, that is instinct kicking in, and the cat will then find instinct to be more important than you asking me what I want to eat now because I'm not hungry. So there are some limitations. But then when you speak or communicate with the higher aspects, then it can be instant at any time, because that higher aspect isn't busy with something now. It's different. It's like we as humans connect to, the archangels, for example. So you can connect at any time you please, and they're always there for you. So it's the same with the higher aspect of the animal.
Yes, and do you think, I mean, we hear a lot in indigenous cultures or in shaman culture, we hear a lot about connect to eagle, connect to buffalo. So that would be the collective higher aspect of all the animals probably in the world or in that region that they connect to, and that you would have like a direct connection to. That's kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, like the indigenous peoples, when they so they can connect. I'm going to take the Khoisan, the Bushmen, which is the indigenous people of Southern Africa, and they are very connected with the animals and the land. They even believe when they die, they become an animal. That's what they believe, and
Yes.
they can shapeshift into animals pretty easy. And one thing is like, so they can connect with the higher aspects. They do connect in their rituals and with healing um, rituals and things like that. But when they're hunting, then they will tune into the individual animal. So, and they hunt on foot and they track. So it's almost like they can almost go into a state of deja vu instantly. They do this thing where they tap on the heart like a couple of times, and they go into the state and they instantly tap into the animal, like the kudu antelope, for example, they're hunting, or a giraffe or whatever. So even though the tracks tell them, let's head in this direction, they will head maybe in the opposite direction, because they've seen where the animal is, and eventually the tracks would have turned around and gone on a different. So that's how they catch up with them, by
Wow.
becoming them, seeing what they see. So that is
Wow.
where they're tracking them with through telepathy. They go in, it's like shapeshifting into them. And yeah, and then when they hunt them, they'll shoot them with a poisoned arrow. So then they chase them for several days until the poison finally, because it's a slower process, eventually kind of they just collapse, and then they catch up with them. And yeah, they bless the animal, thank it for they have a perfect understanding. The animals that get hunted by the Bushmen, and they're like one. So they bless the animal, they thank it for being food for them, and it's this beautiful relationship between the Bushmen and all the natural world. Um, Things like honey, they just, when they find honey, they love honey, so they can go up, climb up a tree and stick their hand straight into the hive, take out the honey. And if any other person do that, I mean, the African honeybees, they're quite vicious.
Yes.
When you
Yeah.
disturb their hives, and they can kill you. And it's like they just connect to them, and they'll take only what they need. So there's this respect, this mutual respect, to not waste and only take what you need, and to bless everything that they take. Um,
As we
and
should.
all, yeah,
As we should
yes.
do it too.
And they have so much respect for the natural world. Even like they don't stay in a permanent settlement, so they live in small family units, and they stay in a settlement for a short time, then they move on, because they believe if they stay too long, they have a negative impact on that area where they're staying, because they're making fire, they need to make toilets, they're living in the bush. So eventually, then they leave that after some weeks, for example, or however long they need to stay there, but they'll move on. And they're semi-nomadic like that, to make sure they don't have a negative impact on the land they stay. That's why they move. So they're hunter-gatherers. And
Yes.
we can learn so much from them with regards to the animals and the connection with not only the animals, but they've also, through their rock art, there's also proof that they've connected to the stars and to other beings, through the animals, through their rituals, their healing rituals, and things like that, which is all, their history is all written on the rock art in Africa. There are thousands of rock art paintings, and it tells their whole history, when the colonizers arrived. Everything is on the artwork. And um, yeah, connections on the spiritual world with their gods and the animal gods. So they are quite fascinating and they are so connected. We can learn so much from them. Which is
Wow.
lost knowledge, a lot of it.
Yes, absolutely. Um,
Yeah,
um, and the lost knowledge. So I feel that this is something that we have lost. And here we come to the missing factor, the missing factor.
yeah,
Um, I truly feel, and I mean, I'm an example. I mean, for me, when I started connecting spiritually, I wasn't trying to connect to animals. I mean, animals are in front of our faces every day, all the time in our life, and we don't make that connection that these animals are actually higher dimensional beings that are very important for us. We just, oh, they're just animals. And then we in the spiritual community, we connect to our starseeds, we connect to the Pleiadians and the Arcturians, and we always try to get wisdom and help, like
yeah,
for our ascension from extraterrestrials, not thinking about the animals. And this happened to me when I started doing this work. I was doing, for example, spirit guide readings. And I was so concentrated on, my Starseed Origins and everything. And when I started doing spirit guide readings, I started seeing what the spirit guides looked like. So many animals started coming in, more and more. When I did readings, I saw the horse, I saw lots of whales and dolphins, wolves sometimes, a lot of lions. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. But I didn't make the connection that these were perhaps higher aspects of our animals on Earth. I always thought, that's a Syrian lion being, that's a Pleiadian dolphin. So I did not even make that connection. And that's where you, when I started to talk to you more, helped me really make the connection that our animals here on Earth are the same as the Syrian or the Lyran or the other beings from out there, that they are incredibly wise and that they have higher aspects that can guide us, and that they are actually the missing factor to our ascension. And we have completely ignored this. So you helped make that connection. And I have to say, I'm going to make another video about this. This is where we can maybe come to the elephants. Thanks to you and all our conversations and my tuning in, I 2 nights ago, or is it 3 nights ago now, for the first time connected to earth animals. I connected to the elephants of earth. And I need to tell you, everyone who is watching, okay, this connection to animals is so much more intense, real, strong than any connection to any spirit guides or ETs that are not earther souls, right? Animals are earther souls, the ones here. I connected to the elephants, and it was one of the most amazing, I would say, experiences, meditations that I've ever had, because they connected to my heart. They connected to my soul, and they were so real. And like you said, Stephan, I saw elephant like this big, kind of half, like this picture floating in the air, like very big, like the face of the animal. And I had a real conversation. Like these elephants, they showed me things that is far from 3D. They showed me truths and things that even the starseeds have not shown me. And that's where this comes in. I mean, how many of you, just to ask you in the chat, how many of you, I know a lot of you are highly spiritual, you have your spirit guides, you connect to spirit, to your higher self. How many of you have actually connected to the higher aspects of the earth animals and gotten absolute wisdom and messages, clear messages from them? How many have done that? That's my question to you. And do you know how important our earth animals, especially certain types of animals, are to us? I've been talking about the lions a lot. Recently on my YouTube channel, I've connected to the lions. And the first time I connected to lion was years ago. Actually, it was in a drum circle. It was indigenous drumming, and I connected to lion. That was my first spirit animal that came in. And somehow lion, I've never thought of the lion being also the earth lion. So it's like there is such a disconnect, and I felt so kind of ridiculous that I didn't realize this before. But that shows how we humans are so disconnected to nature, to the environment, and to the animals, right? So coming back to the elephants, Stephan, I know we've had a lot of conversations recently. and had so many incredible channelings from the elephants, how important they are for humanity. So do you want to explain a little bit of what you got? And I got the really very similar things. So do you want to explain how you feel the animals are important for humanity right now in for our
Yeah,
ascension and survival?
yeah. So, well, there's one thing we have to understand is that no one, like we have to ascend as one. This process, like we are all one. So we are all from Earth, um,
Yes.
and if we don't start to recognize the animals for who they are, see them as equals in
Yes.
consciousness at least, not the
Yes.
3D form.
Yes.
We can't ascend because we have to go together. And in fact, the animals, like you can even check this up in the Akashic records, like the animals are, I think, far above 70-80% of them has already moved into the fifth dimension. They're ascending, but we all have to go together, but they're already on that level because of the service they
Wow.
do.
Wow.
I mean, it's all about, there's so many things. So they know what their missions and purposes are because they don't, like us, have this amnesia when they come into this life. So, and they have that pure connection. So, and for that reason, they are here and they demonstrate by example um, everything they do. And it's all linked to our own process. By paying attention to them, we can pick up so many things just by, and not necessarily communicating with them, but just by watching what they do, certain behaviors. And there are so many subtle things that they show us and help us with our own process and our own healing. And that's the thing. We all have to heal, and we can't if we don't heal ourselves. And that's where the elephants come in. Because of that massive heart healing energy. They are connected to the cosmic heart, like the messages I told you that I got, that you also
Yes.
got.
Yeah. Yeah. The heart. The heart.
Yeah, and this is where this can help us because what's happening is they all, like these animals that are coming in, like I've mentioned to you before, from especially Pleiades, Orion, Sirius, and Neptune. Because
Yes.
those systems are so closely related to the Earth and to our own ascension process. So the animals that come, they carry the specific knowledge and things from those planets, like the Pleiades. The animals that come from the Pleiades, like bees, for example, or fifth dimensional insects, they
Hmm.
carry the blue heart healing energy from source that they access from the Pleiades, which access it from source. Whereas the Orion beings, they carry the universal wisdom in their energy field. The Syrian beings, they bring a lot of energy for us from or like downloads from for spiritual technology and sacred geometry. So
Who?
by
Sorry, can you say which
the Syrian,
animals?
the
Which
Syrian beings
ones?
like elephants, deer, horses,
Yes.
dogs, those ones. So even cows, they in close proximity to humans. So being in their energy field, they carry the energy of new spiritual technology. That's why the elephants told me they're bringing the new to us. So being, and we know don't necessarily have to be in their presence, but we can start to just communicate, connecting to them in meditation. For example, that photo I sent you, that photo it's almost it's the male elephant, but what they told me today is like that photo. When I send it, the reason I send it to you, it's almost like a portal. That male is like a portal into the elephant realm to connect. So it's a safe connection. He won't let anything that's not safe and pure go through that. So people can, that photo you can use, and your viewers can use that photo if they want to meditate on that photo, connect on it, and see what they can find, if they can connect to the elephants, because the elephants are so willing to connect. You saw that for yourself when you connected to them. And
Oh, wow.
it's just clearing the head, setting the intention. And their energy is so strong and so powerful at the moment that the same with the lions. The lions and elephants at the moment, there's a strong energy to connect to both of them. For those who are ready and are willing to open their hearts and do that with trust and see them as a equal consciousness, not look down upon them, look beyond the body, and see the consciousness that's there, because everything has consciousness. The animals, the humans, there's no difference really. We just different bodysuits on this planet, but the consciousness, we all have it, and we all have something unique, and they bring a lot of unique things, and they have all the secrets and the ancient wisdom of this planet, because this, after all, is their planet. They're 100% part of the natural world of Earth. With the soil, they die, they become part of the soil, and I'm talking in particular about the wild animals, not domestic ones. I'm mostly involved with the wild ones. So they are so much part of the land. They know everything, and they have.
Wow.
So it's like having a guide that like going to a city, and you hire a guide that knows the city. They know the planet, because they're part of it. They're part of the natural world, and they have all that knowledge and wisdom. So it's like, taking on a tour guide that's guiding you through Earth, how to navigate through these dense plains, with all the deception that's helping. So they can really help us by connecting to their higher aspects. And they all have specific missions, and specific animals, they will come into your life at specific times when you need them. There are thousands of different mammal species, reptiles, birds, bees, insects. There are so many, and they all have special aspects and strong qualities that. So especially now in these difficult times, and people will think, I've been thinking about this specific animal all week long. I don't know why it keeps popping in my head, or I'll see it on an advertisement, or it pops up on my screen, and that's your guides or the animal. That's specific energy trying to come into your life to help you with specific lessons or specific guidance. So it's quite important to pay attention with the spiritually inclined people to see what type of animals, birds, insects, anything come into your imagination or mind at specific times, and just ask them, what wisdom are you bringing me? What knowledge are you bringing me? How are you coming to help me? How can you assist me? Because we all, it's selfless, because we all need to ascend together. So I mean, if we help each other, the process will just be, so everyone, there's so much separation, and that's the big problem. Division between people, and this is holding us back. And if we don't accept the animals for who they are, see them in the mighty beings that they are, no one's going anywhere. The planet needs to become one. We need to accept each other, the animals, everything. Because I believe the elephants, they have, like, they talk about the new, and they talk about leading us into the new world, into a new, better, safer world, world. And it's almost like they are the guides, the main guides that are taking us in, because everyone needs to heal through love and have unconditional love. And telepathic communication, that's another thing people will have to learn. If you live in the fifth dimension and you don't know how to connect telepathically with all other fifth dimensional beings, it's a vibration that you can't match. So you can't live in the fifth dimension. If you there are certain things that you just have to grow into spiritually, telepathic communication, and using all your senses, and these things. And so there is work that people have to do. And it's not just something that's going to happen. You're just not going to go to leave this reality and go to a fifth dimensional one if you don't do the work. And the animals are, I believe, they are key. They are key. They are the missing link. Connecting to them, they and for me, it's obvious when I realized it. So it's quite hard to explain it to people who don't see it or don't realize it. But when I made that connection, I don't know, I just discovered all the secrets that they have to get us through, help us navigate through. And then life actually becomes, with all the negative stuff going on, you kind of just see the bigger picture, which they help to show you. Like cats, for example, they can just come in and just brighten up everything and lift the entire vibration, and that's part of their jobs. And remove dense energies, like cats are so, and just bring humor. Cats often come into my imagination or mind when I'm too serious, and then it's like, oh, don't be so serious, like. and then they just kind of bring humor. And so it's, yeah, consciously, just we must just make that conscious decision to or just at least make an effort to try and see them for, who they are.
Yeah. And I think that's why I think this is a perfect platform to talk about it, because you have to be a little high vibrational. I mean, you have to understand a little bit about spirit, subtle things. Like the regular dense 3D person is not going to understand that, because it's all like higher level information. And we're talking about 5D. And did you hear, everybody on YouTube? Animals are star seeds too, right? I mean, we have to make a point. You talk about it so naturally, but a lot of people don't know this, that animals are like us, star seeds. We are now, I always say, we star seeds. I know a lot of you identify as star seeds. We are earther souls now. The earth is ours. We have had many incarnations here. And with the animals, they are star seeds too. Their origins, their blueprint, their energy comes from, their souls come from the stars, and they've brought those things down. So animals, exactly like us, are souls with a long soul history. But unlike humans, I feel they don't have this mind construct. Like we humans live so much in our mind and in our thoughts. We don't live in our essence, in our presence, in our now. So I think that's also a huge problem why we humans got so lost, because we're very easily manipulated and spells are easily put on us. You think anyone can put a spell on an elephant or a lion or deceive them? They'll see right through it. I think that's not possible. And that's why we can learn from them. And now I want to maybe, Stephan, go specifically into the beautiful message that both of us kind of got into deeper from the elephants, what exactly they are doing to heal us, the thing about the heart and how they keep the hearts beating. When I first connected to the elephants a few days ago, they gave me so many beautiful messages. Like the one thing that happened was my heart exploded like this with
Yeah.
I don't know, so much love. I was like, how can this little human body hold so much emotion? It was because they are big, and
Yeah.
the emotion they give you is big, and but it's like, I feel it's a special kind of love that's an elephant signature. Like every higher dimensional being feels different. The Pleiadians feel different when they come in, but the elephants, they hit your heart. So if you guys meditate with the elephants, be prepared to have your heart burst open. They gave me an activation. They activated my heart. They activated my whale heart. I'm cosmic whale first incarnation. That's what I still believe, right? And they activated that, and they actually told me, you don't know what love is. You don't know what unconditionality is. You just don't know. We love unconditionally, no matter what, no matter if the humans kill us, no matter. We are here to bring love to this planet. We are here to like raise people's consciousness with love. And they gave me this one message, and Stephan was the one who interpreted it. They gave me the message, we are on this planet, because I asked them, what is your purpose? I kept digging, what is your purpose? What is your purpose here? I want to know. Like, I'm always very like, I want to know, right? And they said, we are here to help to keep the hearts beating, to keep the hearts on the planet beating like this. And then tell me what you got from that, Stephan. This is really important.
Yeah. So can you give me a second? I just want to grab a log of wood. My fire
Yes.
is burning, and then
Okay, go for it.
I'm quickly run. I didn't see my wood's burning out.
Oh, okay. Keep the mosquitoes away. Yeah, so I'm just going to go back to YouTube to see what you guys are saying. Oh, you're already back? Oh no, we're delayed. I'm looking at the other thing. So I hope you're all still here. Yes. Yeah, the volcanic ice, you are right. Thank you. I'm just reading your comments. So the elephants, I mean, I think all the work that I've been doing with the cosmic animals, you know that the dragons came to me, the whales came to me, the lions came to me, and now a few days ago, just because I was open, I didn't force it. I was open. I was just asking, I want you to come in. Whoever wants to come in. And then the elephants came in. And the amount of high dimensional and high level information they gave me, is just unbelievable. It's equal or more to the Arcturians, to the Pleiadians when they give me messages. So the elephants, they actually they showed me so much. They showed me that they heal with their hearts. They showed me what unconditional love means. Right? They said to me, you don't know what unconditional love means. Unconditional love, they kept saying this, is that you love because it is your purpose to love. You love everything and everyone, no matter who they are and what they are. You just love. And that is the true unconditional love. So that's what they showed me. And then they showed me the thing with the beating heart. Oh, you're back.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah,
So what?
what they so that really stuck to me when you said we keep the hearts beating. And when I meditated on that and I connected with them, they told me it's first they said, yeah, they're like the pulse of humanity. And then they told me they're like a pacemaker. So they said
Pacemaker. A pacemaker, my
pacemaker.
people, a pacemaker.
So this was quite amazing what they then shared with me. They said then they told me about the unity or the collective heartbeat of humanity. Just like there's a unity or collective heartbeat, and they said they are the pacemaker. So they know there's a lot of sadness and there's a lot of depression in humanity. They have so much compassion, and that's why they are that pacemaker. That's one of their missions. They came to keep the hearts beating. If because there's so much sadness and depression, so many people on antidepressants and medication with big pharma, that it cuts that connection with source energy when you're like hooked on antidepressants and these things. It's just the balance is not right. And so the heartbeat is slow with all the sadness in our world. I mean, the moral is low at the moment with this thing going around, and they said to not worry. The heartbeat of humanity will never stop because they're the pacemaker. They keep it beating. So even if it seems like it's going down and it's going to stop, they say it's impossible because they will never let that happen. They love us too much, and their love is so unconditional that they don't care. Like they've told me on many occasions that, like, there was so long I felt so much sadness because of their situation, working in Africa and seeing firsthand how they're getting wiped out and poached in horrible ways for their ivory, for different body parts even. And they told me of like that's the last thing I should worry about is their own well-being, because they know exactly who they are and why they're here, and they stick to that, and they do it with so much love and joy in their hearts because they love humanity so much, and they want to guide us, and they're part of the guiding team that are healing our hearts. And that is such an selfless act. And so then, yeah, I started changing my mindset and thinking more about their specific mission, because I'm like, if I'm sad about their situation and they're not even sad about it, obviously, there's something wrong, and something within me that I need to look at, because it's a mirror effect. In the end, everything that bothers us or sadness or brings an emotion out of you that's not one of pure love, means you have to go and dig deep and find out why is that certain emotion coming out. So when I worry about the animals and the poaching and the rhinos especially as well, I had to start making that change to not feel, because in a sense you're also creating some karma for yourself by creating these thought patterns. So just see them for exactly who they are. They told me they're like, don't worry about their pain. Like they're doing this with so much joy. And then, yeah, you start to see them differently because we attach, and that's one of the traps that keeps us in this reality is our emotions, because we compassionate beings as humans. We experience all these mixed emotions. So where the animals don't, and that's why it's so much easier for them they don't attach emotions. It's just a pure kind of a heart connection with everything if you look at the bigger picture, and that's why they are able to navigate through this reality in a different way than us. The emotion is one thing that's really attacking people. That's kind of like a trap. So we have to learn to deal with our emotions. If it's not an emotion of compassion or joy or love that we experience when we see them, even if they're in a bad state. Like they've even told me, when you come across an injured animal and you feel sad and you feel hurt because you see it's bleeding, the leg's broken, they feel what you're feeling. And even in that state where they mangled up and looks like they're on their way out and they're in so much pain, you still have to only send them love and compassion, because they absorb what you're feeling, because the animals are all naturally telepathic. So they absorb all these emotions instantly when we're around them. So when you're helping an injured animal, it's important to, even as difficult as it might be, you'll get the best results just being open and loving and compassionate. Even so, it's that switch we have to make to not connect emotions when it looks like they're experiencing pain or difficulty, where they're actually.
Can't hear you. Can't hear you. I think you're off. Wow. I wonder if the battery ran out. Let me see. Stephan, your connection has cut out. Your connection has cut out. Okay. Well, he's far away. Oh, I think he's gone off for a moment. Let's see if he can come back on. It could be that his generator cut out. It could be. Let me just see. Oh, you're coming back. You're coming back. You cut out for a moment.
Okay, let me just find you again. I lost you there. Oh, there you are.
Yes, you're back. Okay, good. Okay. Yes.
So what I was going to say, it's like, yeah, they just reflect, like the situations we find ourselves in. It's all just in the bigger picture, a reflection of humanity's collective pain and hurt and traumas, and blocks we need to deal with. And once we can learn to just communicate, because telepathic communicate is essentially, it's a heart connection. When you research telepathic communication, it says it's like a lot of infos about the words would say it's a mental connection, but it's a heart connection. So I don't agree with that mental connection. You mentally project maybe something, but the real connection only happens in the heart, and you're not going to get pure connection or communication if you connect with the head. So it has to be with the heart. And one thing that I learned when I connected with them, to try and distinguish whether you're connecting with the head or the heart, is when I close my eyes and I imagine, okay, or I envision this connection now, I would actually remove my head. So I'm there with my body, I just remove the head, and I can even remove the entire body with the arms and everything, and just have the heart there. So in my vision, when I'm connecting, and that helped me quite a lot in the beginning when I would struggle to connect, because then you're not sure, is it the heart or the head? And in my imagination, I would just see my heart and the animal's heart and this bridge connecting them. And I've had some great success in the beginning when I struggled with that. And you will instantly know when the connection is there, because it kind of just ripples through your whole body. It starts in your heart and it kind of like pours out in your body. You get like goosebumps and you feel, and then you know it's real. Because with the elephants as well, because like you said, they send you so much love. It's so intense, it's almost uncomfortable.
Oh, it hurts almost.
Yeah. And it feels like there's so much and there's no more space in your heart. So it pours out of your heart into your entire body. And then there's still not enough space. And what happens with me often is I would just be kind of tears coming out. And that's like tears are the purest emotional release. It doesn't lie. So that's one confirmation that it's really a pure and a real connection when you get tears and you didn't see it coming, and it's basically just excessive emotions that are releasing.
Totally. When they first connected to me, I was like, Wah! I was lying there bawling for hours. It was so intense. So, yes.
Yeah, and That's exactly. Apart from that, so they are here to not only demonstrate by love, like when I've connected with the horses, they are also such wonderful healers, which healing with the heart energy. And it's almost like some of the animals are the waves of love, where the elephants, they're almost like the love generator, like they're almost that source of love. Like it's I don't know, it's quite different from the other animals I've connected with. It's a little bit more intense because also what they tell me, there's a reason they're the biggest mammals on earth, because they have so much love to give, so they need a massive heart. Symbolically, they're telling me it's one way of looking at it. The whales and the elephants, they have
Whales
the
too.
heart.
The
Yes.
whales. Let's just quickly go to that. I think you told me it's interesting because me as a cosmic whale being, I've had this strong connection to the whales because that's basically what I really identify with. And the interesting thing is that I never really was so much focused on elephants. But when you told me the elephants are like the equal to the whales in the ocean, that they have a similar mission and purpose, and they have a similar heart energy. And maybe I thought that's maybe why I could connect to the elephants so easily, because I have that strong connection to the whales and that heart connection. So it was, like I said, the connection to the elephants, that initiation was the strongest, most powerful one I've ever had to any spiritual source, I have to say. Truly. So the whales, you would say, do the same job as ocean animals than the elephants do, right?
I almost feel like when I connect to both of them, it feels very, very the same. And I've received these messages that it's basically one is just on land and one is in the water, and they're quite similar. They're what they and how they're healing. And I've received healing from both the elephants and the whales, and it's always a type of heart healing where there's some sadness in the heart you need to release, or things, and they can come in and they can actually, when you connect to them, they can heal quite a lot in almost instantly, and you only need to open up to them. That's all. Open your heart and trust that connection, and trust that they really will give you that healing. And it happens. They're just amazing beings. It's, yeah, I don't know how to explain the elephants. Like, I think they're very important, and we must all, people must just go for it. Try to connect to them,
Mhm.
and see what happens. But yeah, the thing is to ask the right questions as well. So you don't ask them when you want to connect to the 5D aspect. And it's important to choose your questions right, because the questions are not right, they also might not respond. So you really have to think about your questions. And if you don't know what to ask them, I always just ask, what is the most important thing for me right now that you can share with me? And then that's probably the easiest way to get the most relevant stuff they would have for you. And also your frame of reference, what what industries you are involved in and things. So it really just aligns with what they give you with what you're involved with, for example. So they can give guidance in all walks of life, depending on,
So they know
uh,
all human affairs, basically, in all human
yeah,
affairs. Like for example, right now we're having a tough time. We know what's happening in the world, a lot of darkness, a lot of agendas. So they would be able to help, like really help you see through the agendas and make good choices for yourself, you think?
yeah, definitely, because that's where the new they're talking about, new spiritual technology is what they say, which and that's why some animals, like the cows, the elephants, the horses, they carry this new spiritual technology in their energy field. And
Wow.
so people who's been working at slaughterhouses, for example, slaughtering cows their whole life, they might suddenly receive what's in the cow's energy field, for example, and suddenly something triggers in them, and they might just see the cows differently. They suddenly feel like, um, I don't feel like doing this anymore. I've had this realization that this is quite horrible. Cows are all lined up like a factory, and we're slaughtering them, feeding them hormones or whatever. That's an example. because the cows are one of the Syrian beings that carry that new technology energy and the sacred geometry energy. And the same with the elephants and the horses, they all carry that. So it's, and whether like pigs and sheep, for example, that's another one, animals that are really mass produced in certain small enclosures because it's
Yeah.
like a factory. And the humans that work with them, that slaughter them and things, they radiate that energy. It flows from them. And now is a time where people like us, where we talk about this and we've connected to the elephants, we can cement that into people, and it can become manifest quicker, the reality of more people opening up to the elephants and making that connection. So that's that's quite important. I would just set the intent to connect to them and hear what they have to say, and they can help each of us in different ways. We all have our different journeys, but it's all connected. Yeah.
Now, I've got an idea for you, a proposal. You don't have to say yes, no. As you're talking about a journey, you know that I sometimes do guided journeys here as like a special project. And just to throw it out there, perhaps you and me could do a guided journey together for the viewers, as like a project to help people connect. I mean, I think that would be really, really good. Remember, you guys, a lot of you guys have been on my guided journeys that I put out as a kind of a webinar. So maybe that is something that people might be interested in, to connect, maybe specifically as we're talking about it, to elephant energy and to guide people through that. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, that would be quite interesting. Yeah. Definitely we can talk about that and see how we,
Yeah, as an
definitely.
idea to throw it out there.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah, definitely. We
Wonderful.
can.
Wonderful. Now, maybe one or two more things. We're at an hour already. I don't want to make it too long. And I'm
Yeah.
sure, I mean, I'm looking at the comments. People are just asking questions. Everyone here in the chat is just, thank you everyone for your feedback, is super fascinated by all of this. We've got 134 live people in the house so far. So everyone is saying, let me see, the horse riding community has seen a lot of folks turning from that and whistleblowing lately around that. Okay, a lot of people are also saying that they have connected to the higher aspect of the animals, right? Horses magically healing as well, says Terry. Horse medicine is a real thing. Of course, horses are more accessible. I mean, who has
Yeah.
access to elephants physically? Our son loves elephants. One more thing, even if you have not had physical connection to elephants, you can connect to them and truly channel them. Like I don't know when I ever saw a real elephant, right? But just through that picture where you said that can be a portal, to connect, and just with that pure intention and connection and looking at a picture of an elephant or imagining one, you can connect to elephant energy. I did this in my little bedroom in Canada where there's no elephants. So I feel all the animals are available to us to connect with them, even if we don't have them in front of us, right?
Yeah. A photo works. It's quite phenomenal how one can connect on a photo. So I've tried this, and when I started connecting, the people that helped me, that offered me guidance, they told me about the photo. So I started connecting through a photo, and I have literally have thousands of photos of all African wildlife because of the safaris I do. And
Yeah.
so the animals that I've felt special connections with, I print the photo on a nice paper. I keep it in my file. So I have there's quite a few animals that I've been connecting with over the last few years. And so I have a photo of the ones that I consider them like really close friends, and not animals. Like I've showed you my donkey friend Romeo that would
Yes.
have lunch with us. We're sitting here in the
Beautiful.
garden, and he moves in, and he stands there. He joins us at the table. We put food in front of him, and he eats, and he listens to the conversation. So and that's what I would say. That's one thing, we inviting them into our spaces, and just get rid of that thing about they're just animals, and see
Yeah.
how they respond and how their reaction would be if we start treating them differently.
Mhm.
and how they just come into our space. And I've tested this with all kinds of spiders, bees, all kinds of things just coming and, setting boundaries. Of course, you set boundaries with certain animals, but you can test these out, allowing them, like bringing bees. I put honey in my kitchen every morning, and the bees are there all day, and I just top it up a little bit at a time. Now, for our winter, I've been putting honey out for them because there's not much food they can collect in the winter here. And then suddenly a week later, they get so used to you. They come at clockwork every morning. They're at the window. You open the window, put some honey, and they come in, thousands of them in the day. And people come and visit, and they're like, "What the hell's going on here?" And all these bees are swarming out the windows, but it's only in the kitchen. And we've accepted them so they don't sting you. They know you're feeding them. And I put water on a sponge, and I put the sponge there so they have honey. Then they go sit on the sponge. They soak up some water from the sponge, and they come every day. And like that, um, I don't know. It's like they see what you're doing, and then your connection strengthens, and you'll just, not by making an instant connection, but through the day progresses and through the week, you receive certain messages and things, and um, or help or guidance, and it's like they know what you're doing, and they repay some favors. So I've had some incidents in my previous home where the bees were, and where there's just some weird energies, and they would come in and they get rid of it, and there's that mutual relationship where
Yeah.
you have compassion for each other, and you help each other, and small subtle things like that, getting, seeing them, putting water out for them, even to those who connecting to the dragons. It's another thing a friend has told me, a spiritual friend who's a healer, is just putting water out for the dragons. When, like, I've connected with the dragons through a lot of your teachings about that, and um, I've been putting water out every day in this house I lived in the garden, and you set the intention like, this is for the dragons. So thank you for your protection, for being here, because I connect to them as well.
Mhm.
And their presence just becomes stronger. And you say,
Wow.
and you're like, yes, you're welcome at my home anytime. I put water in the bird bath, and it's fresh water, it's blessed water. You can come in and have it. And small things like that, by connecting with our guides and with the animals like that, by doing small subtle things like that, it gets their attention, because you recognize them, and things can kind of just escalate. The connection gets stronger, and
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, then small things like, also things people should keep in mind when they connect to the animals. So you're not going to sit there in a full-on leather outfit, leather jacket, leather pants, leather boots and belt, because you're connecting to the animals. So it's a form of respect. So you sit, and
Yeah.
for example, small things like that, they notice it, and you're saying, I'm taking off my leather belt, I'm taking off my leather shoes, for example, my hiking boots,
Yeah.
and I'm
Yeah.
connecting with you. I'm not going to wear your skin while connecting to you. It's just wrong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
small, subtle things like that, that the communicator should really be aware of,
Mhm.
which can strengthen the connection and enhance what you get. And because it shows a mutual respect. And I always tell them I
Yes.
respect them before I connect. I first introduce myself, tell them I respect them. There's a few things you go, and when they see you have that respect and acknowledgement, um, they really like it, and they see it as a good quality.
Totally. Like what I did this year, like last year, I always try to have a little patio garden, and somehow I don't have such a green thumb with vegetables and stuff. Like, and this year I said, I want flowers for the birds and the bees and the butterflies. That's why I said I want lots of flowers, with the intention of that. And then I had so many bees and butterflies and the hummingbirds. They came, and they love feeding on the flowers. So I feel that they have been coming in more and more, just with that intention. And I sit there sometimes and I call in the hummingbirds and I look at them, and they come. And so since I've paid more attention to the animals, even before I met you and made this direct connection, in the last years, they have been coming in more and more. And I have all kinds of groups of animals suddenly coming in. Last year I had all these frogs suddenly here. There's no water, but they started living here and I loved them, and I would put out little things for them and I would talk to them. Then suddenly I have a collection of slugs here doing their strange dance, and
Yeah.
I've had flocks of birds and deer and all kinds of animals coming in just because I'm awake and aware, and I kind of talk to them, or I just wanted to connect to their energy without even any of the channeling. So it's true what you say. It's really true what you say.
Yeah, they feel that. So when you show interest, even when we're communicating with them, so at first, just focus on them. If it's an animal at home, you just show genuine interest in them.
Hmm.
And it might take a while. So the thing is patience in the beginning, but eventually they notice that, so they come closer and they come closer, and like that I've had birds, and all different chameleons, all kinds of animals. When you just sit there and you don't walk up to them, the chameleon, and pick it up, and you sit and
Yeah,
you observe it
yeah.
until, because they need to trust you first. And
Mhm.
if there are scrambled messages in your head, it can take time. But once they see you're just observing, and I mean,
Mhm.
there's the body language is also important. Don't kind of
Mhm.
lean over them, shoulders open, heart open,
Mhm.
um, small things like that, where they see you're open and you're not kind of hunched in.
Mhm.
Small things like maybe when you're concentrating, people clench their fists or in their face. So you got to think of all these small things, because they even pick up small subtleties like that. They're like, okay, you're a bit tense because you're focusing so hard, because people are like, I really want to connect now. Why is it not working? And then you're clenching your
Yeah.
fists and you don't even realize it. So
Yeah.
you have to do a body scan, a complete body scan, before you start any communication, really, and make sure you're 100% kind of relaxed and neutral. And they instantly pick that up, and then it will happen. Yeah.
What I feel is really helpful, and this is for all connection to everything, or any kind of spiritual being or higher being. What I just automatically do, and I do it now because I know it works. When I connect, all I do is I just go within and I feel love and gratitude. And I just and the people in my course, my Starseed Origins course, when I do like dowsing, when I go into the Akashic records, you'll find I go in and then suddenly I go, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'm just so grateful. I just feel this gratitude for this connection and for that animal or that whoever it is, my spirit guide being there. And I just go, thank you. And when I feel gratitude, my heart fills with love too. And that's when they come in. And I don't even try. I just say, thank you for being there. And I just honor their presence. And I just feel the gratitude and the love. And that's suddenly when, boom, they come in. You don't even have to try hard. I feel that's really helpful.
It is. Those are the things that attract them to us. Being grateful, having, love and joy for them, respect, all these,
Mhm.
basically all the high vibrating qualities. Because the thing is, it's a vibrational match in the end.
Mhm.
Your vibration matches theirs, and that's where, like that, you make the connection. So it's something, staying grounded, lifting the vibration. They always tell me when I struggle a bit, they'll be showing me lift the vibration, and you focus on that.
Yeah.
And it's just a vibrational match in the end. And
Mhm.
that's why, yeah, things are, you need to a clear head, body, mind, and soul. That all kind of needs to start aligning. So things like healthy eating and things, not heavy processed foods, things like that can also block you.
Mhm.
So the body kind of needs to be in a healthy flow. The mind, because it's your senses need to be sharp, because you communicate with your senses. You feel, you hear, you see. Um, an animal can send, I've had them sending me a tummy when I'm like, there's something wrong, and they send me the physical tummy ache, rather than telling you I have a tummy ache, or you hear it or you perceive it. You feel the actual pain, and you kind of, for several seconds, that can stay with you, and then it disappears, and you're like, okay, so that's the problem. Or a toothache, a
Mhm.
headache, or a sore foot. So you can
Mhm.
receive the physical feelings or the pains. So it's really important to be really paying attention to all your senses. when you communicate with them, because they can just come in any way, really. So it also depends, like I've mentioned to you before, which part of the brain is more developed. Like sporty or the physical people, sporty people are more inclined to receive or communicate in a physical manner. A therapist more in an emotional manner. Someone like a public speaker more verbal, and an artist more visual, the way you send and perceive. So the communicator needs to work on developing all four of those receivers in the brain and kind of make them one, and that's how the heart and the senses kind of align. And the communication happens through the heart, but then it can be perceived through the brain for you to understand it easier, and that depends which part of your brain are more developed. So, and that's also why 100 people can ask the same question to the same animal, and it's likely they will all get complete different answers, with none of them being incorrect. If you're a complete clear mind, so because it's aligned with how you ask, and how it would come back must be aligned with your how you perceive things, understand. Maybe there's some thought patterns that are different, or beliefs, so that's why we all will get different answers for specific questions, same questions even. So yeah, trust. Okay, like we've discussed this before, that the trust is really important. That's the most important thing, the trust. But
Yes,
yeah,
yes. That's what I teach too in my course, right? Which is mostly about psychic connection. Like the Starseed Origins course is about the psychic connection, is trusting yourself and
yeah,
bringing all your psychic senses together. So it's what you're saying is I agree 100%, and that's also what I teach. 1 sec, I'm just going to go back here to Zoom so I can see if there's a lag. Wow, this is so fascinating. We could go on for hours and hours. We're already 1 hour 15 minutes in, but you've given us like so much depth of knowledge and so many incredible tips. This is like a course in itself almost. This this video. This is really cool. But before we go, one thing I would love you to touch on is the lions, because we are still in Leo month, okay? And the lions have been, before the elephants came in, the whole month the lion was lion every day, messages, strength, like light codes. And I've done a lot of videos about lions, and we talked about lions, and we have actually
yeah,
connected first through lions. And what's interesting is what I received on the Lionsgate portal, in the Lionsgate portal in that time, that all of you who saw my Lionsgate video, what I received, and I want to ask what you received. What I received, the main one of the parts was the lions coming in to help humanity in spirit form, right? Like the higher aspects, the energetic aspects of lion coming in fighting mode. That's, remember in that video I said, whoa, what they're gonna do, what they're ready to do. Oh my goodness. So I knew that they're on the side of the ascension, on the side of the light worker, and they know exactly that there are dark agendas going on, that there are dark people, negative souls, and that they are here to help us. We always say
yeah,
the Arcturians, the Pleiadians are coming in to help us, but hey, the lion beings are here to help us transmute negativity, to throw out the negative, and to protect us. And I felt that if you call them in, they will protect you. They will show you the dark agendas. They will transmute them. They will help bring light to them, and they really do this. So what did you get about that? You had a vision about that too.
yeah. So several days before, well, actually, yeah, like the whole of August, it's been coming through really strong. And before the during that, some days before the main, like the day 0808, and several days after, for probably about 8 days, every single day I just saw females pouring in, and I saw my lion guide coming in, the male. And as soon as he came through the portal onto Earth, these females, it was like a stream, like a waterfall of females pouring in. But for days on end, I saw this vision, and they told me they're pouring in because they they're filling up every little inch of this planet or their energy with this Lionsgate portal, specifically to go and seek out dark energy. So I saw them going into all the different cities of the world, on the plains, in the dark alleys of cities, on the different continents. And as they approach, it's almost like a sea of these females just kind of coming and filling the earth. And as they come closer and moving, all these dark spots were just kind of evaporating as the energy come closer. And that's one thing the feline energy does. The cats in general, they have that thing where they're not scared of dark energies, and they specifically seek them out. The cats, and that's what they came in, and they said they're in full-on hunting mode. But even though they're hunters, they don't hunt for fun. They hunt for survival, and they will fight when they need to protect themselves, the females and the offspring. That's when they need to fight, and that's what they showed me. They said they're just coming to to show that dominance, that fighting spirit, saying that we are here to assist and just to help with that spirit to set boundaries and to not be scared of. They're saying that like fear isn't real. If you like the darkness, they just feed off fear. So if you show them no fear like we do, anything in your daily life, it just won't come to you. And they demonstrate that. And another thing that was important, a lot of stuff came that we discussed about the blood and the DNA and things as well. So with the lion energy, there came this, I felt a lot of the messages had to do with DNA upgrades, specific energy they're bringing for our and that's the thing we discussed, which is a complete different conversation with the using nature for healing ourselves and certain ingredients in nature. So a lot of the energy was regarding protection and healing and focusing on our divine DNA structure and our cells and keeping that pure. But that protection from the females, because I've never had my lion guides always with me in his male form, but to see all these females came in, and I saw them hunting, circling dark energies and setting an ambush, and they kind of push these dark energies into an ambush, and they completely surround them, and the energies just evaporate because they can't face them, because it's a coward energy. The type of energy that feeds off fear is a coward energy. By feeding off someone's fear, like a child's fear or a human's fear or anything. And once you realize that, it's just this quick change, and then they can't do nothing to you, and they're trying to show us that fear isn't really real. The only real emotion is love. That's a true emotion, and everything else, fear, sadness, depression, all all these emotions, they're saying love is the only real one. And once we have, like the elephants and the lions, they work together, and so they say once we have that love, then fear evaporates, because love overcomes fear instantly. And that's what they bring us, that energy, and it flows from them. We just have to connect to them, and we will receive it. You've had the same. We both had this, and it's they are there. We can connect to them as easy as with the elephants. We just have to tune in and acknowledge them, see them for who they really are, and it will come. Yeah, I believe there's something with the energies at the moment, and I don't know, I think it's becoming a bit easier for people to connect to the animals.
Yes.
I don't know. I don't know. There's just this shift in energies that I've been feeling, especially through this Lionsgate month, compared to last year. And it's almost becoming stronger as we need them more, and they're all willing, they're all there. And I often see them, the entire animal kingdom, just everywhere. They're offering their help. We just need to ask, open our hearts and ask, and they truly step in. they step
Yes.
in and they will give us what we need.
Absolutely. And I mean, in my videos in the last months, I've always been saying and sharing the animal energy. Like I say, call in the lines, and I try to encourage everyone and introduce them to line energy. And a lot of people have written me and said they did this and it worked. So it's really just a matter of trusting, understanding, knowing, asking. And the line energies right now, we need this because we know what's going on right now in the collective. There's many agendas, there's many mandates. And if you get pulled into that fear, and I mean, things are happening for real, this is the time where we need those energies. That's why the lines are here, I feel, because, for example, what's happening in Canada right now, we're having a snap election. So the Canadians can choose if they want mandates or not. You know, the vax will be mandated. They want to really mandate this, but they want the Canadians to choose. And I really wonder how they're going to choose. It's very, very interesting, right? So there's a lot of that type of stuff going on all over the world. And this is where we need that fearless, protective line energy to call in the lines and to feel it in our hearts and to be fearless. Because I feel like what you said, if you are fearless and if you just stand in your power, then these negative agendas, they crumble. They dissolve, they can't hold up for very long. And the problem is that most of the humans are caught in fear agendas and the fear spells. And that's why, I mean, we're a small community, right? The spiritual community is small, but we are growing and people are waking up. And I feel the Lionsgate portal was like a shift where people more easily can actually, oh, wait a minute, what's going on? Maybe what is being told to us is not real. Maybe all this fear is not true. Maybe we shouldn't be so fearful. Maybe we should act out of a place of empowerment instead of fear. I feel it's easier. So, like you said, when you said you saw all those linenesses pouring in and filling every space, I mean, even people who are asleep or fearful, I think that line energy impulse gives impulses to everyone, right? They can impulse people to become awake. So that's why, like the lions, the elephants, everything that you've been saying, they truly are the missing factor. They are so important. And one more thing why they're important, because they are earther souls as well. They belong to the earth and they have permission to act upon the earth. Everyone always says the aliens will come and save us, or like the Pleiadians and Arcturians will come and save us, but they're not allowed to come down and act on earth because they're not earther souls. It has to be us from earth, from within. And we're overseeing the animal kingdom who have permission to act and fight and transmute and actually do things just like we. So we are the ones we've been waiting for. The animals are the ones we've been waiting for. And we, together with the animals, knowing this now, are the ones who will transmute the earth. Because, you know, I really get a lot of comments. When are they going to come and help us? When are they? You know, they. It's like, it's we. It's us. Right?
Yeah. No, I believe something like that won't happen. Because we don't need it. I've with my connection with the mosquitoes, they're fascinating consciousness to connect
Ooh.
with. So through them, I connected with the ETs, and the same. And this, I believe, is the same that Dolores Cannon talks about. When she talks about them, she always talks about them or they, which are the ETs that the people that she worked with, her patients, which she called the seeders of planets, the guardians of planets, these extraterrestrial beings, or this extraterrestrial consciousness she connected with. So I had a channeled message from her, and then I connected to these same beings that she was always connecting to through her hypnosis. And they told me they have no, like, what would they come and do here? Why do they have to come and rescue us? I mean, if you think in the bigger picture, well, how will militaries around the world react if because not everyone has the same viewpoints on that subject. So I also, when I think about it or look at the situation from a higher perspective, there's absolutely no reason that we need these are what our reality. The news over exaggerated, I believe, and install fear. And I think, yeah, we just need to learn to love. It starts with that. And heal ourselves, and not look at healing. We all want to heal our close ones and want to do things for them, but that's just mirroring our own healing that needs to happen. And unless we start to look within, the elephants have taught me the same thing. We're going to have to each start with ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, even if we feel sadness for Mother Gaia, it's a reflection, and we just, it starts, and that's what the elephant energy is here to help us all do, to connect us to that cosmic heartbeat, they told me. And we can tune into that heartbeat, and it's almost, if you get closer to that vibration of that heartbeat, it's almost like it will suck you in like a magnet. The closer you get to it, and suddenly it will just, the force will pull you, and immense heart healing can happen. So I encourage everyone to just try it, to connect to the elephants and see what happens. Accept that, open the heart and see. It's just worth it, I think. So yeah.
Beautiful. Wonderful. Wow. Wow. This has been an amazing conversation. I'm just going to go back to YouTube here. I'm switching back and forth on my browser. And wow, yeah, we're 1 hour 30 in. I think that was a very beautiful final message. Everyone, try to connect. Just do it. Just know that the animals are there for you, especially the elephants. They want to connect to you. They are waiting. It's not that difficult. You have to have an open heart, and maybe we'll do that journey to help you a little bit with that. So maybe we'll leave it here. I also have, if any of you have specific questions or anything like that, I have put Stephan's information below. He's got his website, his Instagram, his email. So please feel free to ask him questions, or if you're interested in anything, I have his information there. And Stephan, I hope this is not the last time that we will speak here on YouTube, because I think the wisdom that you have to share is just something so new and different and so important. And I hope we can continue this conversation at some point soon as well. What do you think?
Yes, no, definitely. Yeah, there's so much to share, actually, and all
Yeah.
different, you know, once we look past all the healing they offer us, as well, but with new technology happening, blockchain technology, cryptos, they have advice and guidance regarding everything. There's a new changes, so that's one thing. There's a new, the changes are happening whether we like it or not. The internet will change, the financial system will change. These changes are kind of inevitable, and they can give us guidance for that, and to adapt to that, and see the signs, because there are many hidden signs that we can follow, synchronicity,
Yes,
for guidance. Yeah. So
absolutely. And I'm just seeing everyone's comments. Sorry, I couldn't read all your comments, everybody. And maybe we have to do a Q&A, because people have lots of questions and stuff like that. So thank you, everybody, for participating. I'm going to go back afterwards and read your beautiful comments. Everyone's saying thank you. Michelle is saying, thank you so much, Stephan, for your insights. Thank you, Natasha. Thank you for the elephant medicine, says Perla. So there's already been some receiving here. Star Liz says, I'm going to connect to the elephants. This is exciting. Wow, one guy working in a slaughterhouse witnessed a steer crying like a human, quit that day. Things are happening. Things are
yeah,
happening.
well,
It's, yeah.
quickly, while you mentioned that, I don't know if you're aware of this, but the elephants can also cry, which is,
Whoa.
I've seen
Wow.
that. So sadness, they cry when they're sad, when a mother loses a baby, or vice versa. A young baby loses the mother, the actual cry, the tears run out. And that's one indication that they are very emotional beings, compassionate beings, when you mentioned that. So that's true. Some animals can cry, and that's just a sign that there's a higher consciousness in there, because that's tears are just a sign of pure emotions coming out.
Yeah, beautiful. Wow. Okay, well, thank you so much. It's been so
Thank you.
lovely. I enjoyed my very first guest here on YouTube. I think it was worth it. It was worth waiting this long because this conversation has been amazing. So everybody who is here, if you haven't done so, please give a like to the video. Please subscribe as well. We need to push this so more people see it, and the algorithm likes it when you leave comments, when you subscribe, all of that good stuff. And please share this. Share this video with your spiritual friends, because we need more people to awaken to this truth of the animals being our leading guides in the ascension process, basically. Yes. Okay. Well, we'll say goodbye for
Yeah,
now, and definitely we'll be back, hopefully together, to do another beautiful session and to continue the conversation. Thank you so much again, Stephan. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
definitely.
It's been
Thank you
lovely.
so much. Thank you for your time.
Okay.
Cheers.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. We're going to end the stream. Love you all. It's been wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.